Okay, thank you. So just to introduce myself, I'm Wei. So I'm one of the two solutions consultants for Appian. And this is a lunch and learn session, so feel free to eat while I'm presenting or listening.
Sorry, is the voice not clear? Someone said.
Voice sound clear? Is it better? Then the whole closer is it? Can I hear is it better? Okay, so this is
Recording something.
So this is the agenda that we'll be going through today. And we really thank you for being in this session and inviting us to present. For those who are not familiar with Appian, which I would assumption that many of you are not, we'll be going through what we call an introduction, what is Appian about. Then we'll be going through some technical overview so they can understand from a technical point of view what Appian does. And because you're all solution managers, it'll be good to understand the architecture of it. And there's a short section on the kind of training that's available if you want to learn more. For example, if you want to try out some of the tutorials in the trial environment. Then we will have a break, followed by what we call case management demo. And we'll be sharing some success stories, use cases, and the competitive landscape. At any point of time, if you have any questions, because you may be familiar with some of the other products that are also in this space, and you want to know what are the differences, any point of time, you can ask. So Appian has been around for quite some time. When someone new in this region, the company has been around for more than 50 years. And we have 2,300 employees, and we are headquartered in the US, in Washington, DC. So we do feature in the analyst chart for Forrester, Analyst Group, and you can see that we are leader in some of these quadrants. So obviously there are quadrants for digital process automation, process orchestration. And for Gartner, we are also in the low-code application development and enterprise low-code application development as well. So what are some of the compelling reasons that customers will want to use us is that we have to accelerate any of the manual automation processes that you might have within the organization. Up to 95%. We can help our customers can see a payback on the ROI in around less than 6 months and 90% reduction in development time. And how do we deliver on this promise? It's based on these three principles. That there is always a design element to it. So in the design phase, you'll be designing the processes. So just to clarify what we mean by processes, because sometimes when people ask what is Appian, we position as a low-code process automation company. And there will be some misconception that, oh, we can do DDF, we can do the more generic application. What I see is that there is actually some overlap in these two. And for example, in the normal application, you will have an UI layer, and I can do things like submit an order, I can add an employee. So you might think where does process automation comes in. So even in the example I given for submitting an order usually goes through multiple systems, goes through multiple people, and that is where it becomes a process. Whereas adding a member maybe just updating the database. So there's some overlap between a normal application as well as a local process application. So we will design the processes, we will automate the processes, and we will help you to optimize the processes as we go along. So it's a closed loop, continuous improvement of your processes. Everyone is into AI now, so and what we see for AI is that AI is not supposed to replace humans. AI is supposed to make humans more efficient. So we collaborate with so-called human within the processes, make them more productive. And that's where we see how AI can add value to the whole enterprise. So what we envisage AI to be is that AI is useless without data. It's based on this data that you will do all your machine learning, your large language model, that helps you to make the decision. And we have the process to have to tie this AI together to enable the people working in the process to be a lot more efficient. So this is another view of it. We have to orchestrate the process and the AI and automate and to optimize. So notice we also have RPA within the whole platform. And we see RPA as an endpoint to an end-to-end business process. And as I mentioned earlier, we also do have an UI element. So as you orchestrate the processes, let's say order to cash kind of so-called process, we would need to have an UI element to be able to present data to the end user, as well as to capture information. So as to help them to make a decision during the process. So when we talk about total experience, we're talking about being able to deliver UIs in the web browser as well as on the mobile phone. So you only design once and will work on both desktop browser as well as mobile interface. Process HQ helps to optimize the processes. After I build the processes, I may want to optimize it. Process HQ helps to find out where the inefficiencies are. So if I have to feed the process into Process HQ, it can tell me what is the route that it usually takes within the process, how many days it takes for different scenarios. So if I have a process of, let's say, order submission, and I can find that order submission for a particular product is very slow. Then it highlights to me and I can investigate and know that, oh, maybe for delivering of this monitor, the delivery lead time is just too long. I can fix it, and instead of 30 days, we can cut it down to just 10 days. Case Management Studio is something that Vincent will be demonstrated later. So Appian by itself is what I would call a platform as a service. So it's a platform where you can build applications and to automate processes through drag and drop locally. But we do find that many of the use cases that customers have are a form of case management. For example, to apply for some permit, that is a form of a case. And to even report an incident, that is also a case. So we built this solution, or we call it a framework called Case Management Studio, to allow you to build any of these applications that are a variant of case management much faster. So instead of having to build things like the commanding system or table to contain the case information or how it runs, the framework will allow you to do it a lot faster. So for example, show that here. The data fabric is something within the product that is quite differentiates us from our competitors. So I put another slide about this later, but for now, what I would say is it is a virtual data layer that helps you to unify data in all these different silos that you might have. You have the ERP, HCM, the ITSM, to form one big data fabric that allows you to build the applications even faster. Because I did mention that you can build applications up to 10 times faster, and this really helps. So some of the typical use cases for this is more from a public sector perspective. For example, if you want to do regulatory enforcement, case management, or acquisition management, these are all use cases that Appian can excel in. There are many other use cases that we can use for across different industries as well. And these are some sort of characteristics of the platform that allows you to build enterprise-grade application. So we have all these certifications that are important to customers, all the ISO and SOC certification. And we have SLA of 99.95 and availability of 99.9.
Okay, what is the difference between your availability and the 99.95?
So availability refers to how available the solution is. And this is more on the service level that we provide to you.
Meaning to say, meaning to say that we commit 99.95, but in market standard, we actually are capable of 99.99 at the moment.
So this is our promise to you to be able to help you to automate all your mission-critical processes. And through our innovation in the data fabric and our private AI, which I'll talk about later. And we hope to be partners in your success in delivering solutions for our customers. So that particular section is a bit more on what Appian does at a very high level to introduce company. And I guess as technical people are more interested in this technical overview. And some of the things I mentioned earlier will be discussed with more details. So we will help you to build enterprise-grade software. And these are just some sample of the kind of applications you can build. So there are multiple ways you can make use of Appian. So one simplest way is that you create an entire new application based on Appian. That would be number one. And you just automate one particular process, one particular use case. You can also use Appian to extend some existing systems. For example, if you have an ERP, but you do not have a travel approval kind of workflow, and you can build a travel approval workflow and add it on to an existing ERP system. Or you can make use of Appian to build something to connect and unify all the different applications. And this is interesting because during the course of your workday, you may need to log into all these different systems to just do the work. And we have to unify by having one common interface and pulling all the information from all the different systems to make it more productive for you. What this slide shows is what are the different components within the whole platform. So it's capable of doing integrations, connecting to disparate systems through what we call connected systems, which could be through REST API as well, to pull the data. We have a business rules engine within the platform. So it will need to have complex business rules, the rules engine will help. we are able to manage content as part of the workload as well. But if you are using some other content management system out there, then it's possible to connect and use that as well. And creating reports so that people can make decisions and to look at all the key metrics part of the whole platform as well. Process mining is the portion about optimizing the process to be able to spot inefficiencies within a process. And once you spot the inefficiency, it will tell you how, it might give you some hint how you can optimize and improve the process. So data, are we talking about it? So in terms of security, everything within the platform is governed by what we call role-based access control. And the roles on the platform, it can always also be synced to an Active Directory for the groups and users as well. We have Appian within the platform as well. But if you have sort of localism, we can work with those as well. So some of these I'll be talking about later on this team. So there are four main critical capabilities of the platform, which are assisted by AI and its local drag and drop for all this. So the first one is what we call the data fabric, and then automation for experience and process mining. Let's talk about the first critical capability, which is the data fabric. So it helps you to discover the data, unify the data, secure the data, and optimize the data. And this will be easier to explain what is the data fabric. So what is here in this animation is the data fabric. In your organization, you have many different kind of systems. In this screen, you can see the Salesforce, the SharePoint, the Oracle, Financials. And what the data fabric does is to hook them up into this virtual data layer. So we do not put the data into Appian. In real time, we will get the data from our system. Because once you build this later, when I show you the part of the databases, it becomes a lot faster to build the database. It can also help to cache the data. So if you are worried about performance, you can also cache the data within the platform. And it's not just getting data from the sources, you can also do aggregations, calculated views. So, any questions about what the data fabric is? Because it is one of the differentiators that we have that really helps to accelerate the development process.
Would you say it's like something like a virtual schema that the application uses without actually putting the data into the database, your database? The data doesn't come into the database, it's just used at runtime to collect the data from different sources, but it is presented in a logical view to your Appian application, like a virtual schema. Is that way how
something like that? Yes. So you do not need to do data migration. We just need to connect to all these different data sources. Then we create a logical layer, like what you mentioned just now. So this logical layer can actually be, you can have the option to do data synchronizations, so that we can actually cache the data. Why we want to do the caching is because when you do caching, then it's actually much faster. Take, for example, if you have to connect to your database, which is actually on-prem, how often do you allow us to access it? Maybe once a day or every 12 hours or 6 hours. So we synchronize it. Then we will actually have a cache copy of it. It's not into a database, it's not in the database, it's just a memory cache. So that it allows us to do a much faster response time to the customers when actually customers are doing it. But of course, ultimately, some customers say, oh, I want it to be real time, that we can actually write into the database. You can also do that.
So is there a mapping features, mechanism, logical to the physical data model, database kind of thing?
Yes.
So if I create an insert, a transaction, an insert to that logical, how this translate multiple database?
So if you look at the, if you look at just now that picture, one of them, this one, you can actually create relationships or table schemas over here. Then when you write, you actually write into that database.
It's transparent to the developer, and we do the mapping first, okay, logical. Then after that, I just look at developer, just look at the logical.
Yes.
Yeah. So I insert.
So you're just saying that, okay, you want to write back into which we call it a record set. So which record set you have to write into. So in your Appian process, for example, it says write this process. Then you just automatically operate with that process. You can even say, I want to just update a certain fields. Can be possible as well. But you don't have to write any SQL script or SQL solve procedures whatsoever. You just write, say that, okay, I want to write in this particular record set. System automatically write into it.
So underlying will translate to
Yes.
certain kind of thing.
Correct.
Then leading on from that, how is your access governed to those application data at the source? Because you're saying like it's Oracle, financial grant, or some other source data system, databases, right? You connect to them at an application level or at a database level?
It'll be through like things like JDBC or API calls. Yeah.
It's through what we will call like a service account.
Yeah.
So you need to grant access right to that service account to access Oracle financials and all this, which will be through the
So that access is not at this end user's level. It is at the application, Appian application service
Yes.
account level to be able to access that data. So that's quite powerful access you require.
Yes. And you brought up a good point. How do we restrict the end user access? So within Appian itself, you will have a role-based access control, and you will further restrict based on the Appian user what they can see, what they can access. Just think of the platform as a super user to access what they're supposed to see on the system. Because sometimes even if I want to allow access to financials, maybe I'll give you rights to access just a few modules.
Or you can control the service account credentials depending on what your data fabric design is going to.
You will control it at the source. So at the Oracle financials, I will set this service account only access of the master.
So is there a connection to concept? Because you are managing so many databases, different database will have different types of giving you the transaction session kind of thing to connect the database and efficiently reduce the connection. So plus Appian like WebLogic will have this connection to concept.
I need to check that one because I usually because for me I'm not so complex. I'm the preset.
Okay.
We would use normal, for example, JDBC. We create credentials just to do a login. But in your case, maybe take for example, if 10 users or 100 users use that JDBCs, yeah, how you actually do
Reduce the connection.
Correct.
That's a very important factor
Understand.
for performance.
Yeah.
Especially such a huge system.
Okay, we can check. Thanks.
And on the previous slide, you had said on the diagram, you had said cloud and on-prem. That means Appian is available as a PaaS offering on the cloud as well as on-prem installation.
Yes. I am a section of the whole development application. And it's good that you brought up the discussion about security and performance. So over here, you can configure the record level security and also monitor the performance of this record. And it's also self-tuning for this data.
So when you say record level security, is record level at the logical data fabric layer, not at record level at the source system level, because that is controlled at the service account that will be accessing the record, right? So everything that you're talking about here is applied on the data fabric on the memory or whatever the Appian level. That's what everything that you're talking about is applied.
Yes, right. the other critical capability, which is automation. So this is what we are most famous for, to do process automation and to orchestrate workflow and pass content as part of the whole thing. So this is the process modeler that allows you to design a process. And you can see we have different stream lanes. The first one is people, second one is for RPA, so you can execute RPA tasks as part of this whole workflow. And everything is just drag and drop from the palette on the left-hand side and configured through all these wizards.
So the workflow is in conform to the BPM standard now to standard. If people export from some drawings, recipes, and import, you're able to please fill out some of the processor.
Yeah, we conform to the design, but not the import export. So meaning
it's
that you
able to extract BPMN to some people use a drawing or some technical drawing, they draw in compliance to BPMN to workflow line. So they export, then able to just
we do not allow the import, but we do have customers who actually we actually have a partner who actually do something similar to that. But in Appian, we don't really do that kind of import and export. But there is an option. For example, if you look at the top right hand side, so the top left hand side on there's a designer and analyst. So the designer will be the one who actually design everything, but we are able to allow users to say that they themselves come here to design a concept of the flow first. Then the technical people can take over the same design and add on the integrations, the service call APIs, etc., into the design that the user has previously drawn out as a draft.
Because in certain organization, government sector, they have this, they draw, use a VA to order all this process.
Yes.
Then they say, hey, I do already.
Automated and then the system build the system based on this.
Correct. So they wanted, hey, don't waste my effort. This one is my diagram. You don't draw again, just import, then you will change accordingly. May not be 100% similar, but at least you 80% or 50% more be good.
Yeah. So what happens is that we only allow at the moment if you draw it only here, but we don't the design structure, everything is compliant to BPM, but it's the import export that we don't actually cover.
Okay. And the swim lanes, are they fixed like people, RPA, AI, and API, or you can modify the swim lanes to have different other swim lane capability?
You can change the swim lanes. In fact, you can have no swim lanes. It's something. So to wrap up the question on BPMN, I would say as partners, I'll try to be as transparent and honest with you. We are BPMN compatible, but not compliant. We do have a partner who created an import tool, but as Vincent has mentioned, it is not available out of the box. So you have to use partner tool to import.
So the fact that you have a partner to do that means there was a use case for it. Like he's mentioned. Yeah. Okay.
As part of the process, you can also do outbound integration calls to Salesforce.
You have certain standard connectors to various list of products, is it?
Yes. We have the concept of connected systems. So for some of the more popular ones, we do have the
standard ERP like Workday, Epic, I saw healthcare, financial, sort of. You have a list.
Yes. And if we do not have, we can either use REST services, we can connect to the database. We also do have what we call a connected SDK as well. That allows you to create all these connected systems. So there's many things that you can do within the process, even up to unzipping a zip file. There's a whole list of them, from data services, business rules, analytics, document generation. For example, if this is an insurance quote process, you want to generate a policy document as well.
You mentioned business rules. So, I mean, is this like you also have a capabilities like a full-fledged rule management, VRMS kind of capability.
Yeah, what we call decision rules,
Decision table.
decision table, decision rules. You create that. It's like it's actually like a columnar. So you just put a condition, and the results to be generated for you. Or you can even use our Appian expression rules, which is actually like function like that you can create conditional function like if statements and for statement, matching choice. All these are the things that you can actually create if you are more into the complex one. Yeah.
The decision table helps in simplifying the process because if you try to make very complex so-called branching, it can complicate the process. So when the decision table is simplifies this, and then you do not have to even write more complicated details things. The next portion is on the mobile experience. So after you have automated the process, I need ways to collect data and also to display back to the user so that they can do approvals of changes. And that's where the mobile experience comes in to help you to build the UI UX. And anything you build will be available as a web application or mobile application. These two ones. And this is a sample of what the UI they can do using all the experience. So this is just to show you how it looks like on the iPad or the mobile phone. And the last one is process mining. It helps you to see where most of the flows of a complicated process goes through, how many days between all the different nodes. And if you try to do some sort of variation, then this whole thing will change. It can help you to identify where the bottlenecks.
This process mining modeler view will handle all components that you put into your swim lanes across multiple. Because you could have process items that are perhaps manual or API integration, stuff like that. Will this modeler address, look at the events across all the across RPA,
Yeah,
AI?
correct. So what happens is that this process model, process mining, what happens is actually capabilities that is after you have done your process, then you actually implement it for 6 months, 12 months, correct, analyze. So after that, we'll take the system log back, okay, the process log, system log, etc., to say that this particular process is supposed to follow step A, step B, step C, step D. But when we actually pick up the log, we say that how come some people actually skip step B and go to step C directly, or step B take longer than usual if exceeded the SLA timing.
So we even cloud.
Yes, we capture all this because whatever we design is as it is, but the user who use it, how fast, how slow they do all this process, which step they skip, okay, or additional step that they put in themselves. Okay, we use this log to capture and tell the customers. Say, for example, if someone who actually always skips certain steps, how do you identify it? There's no way. So Appian process mining actually helps you to find anomalies. You can actually use this to log and say that why is this process always not done? And then you can drill into it. This person always skips the particular process. So you can capture conformance or compliance issue with the process mining itself. Compliances, conformance, SLA, these are the few things that a lot of customers use process mining.
So the log is captured in the production environment.
Just to clarify what Professor said. So when it's known as process mining, we work on log production. We have now rebranded it as a process HQ. And so the so-called log information is now stored in the system instead of files. Can it use it to analyze processes that are outside of yes. You will take those information, you will import it into our sort of process HQ so that it can form part of the analysis as well.
Will it I mean, is it always on? This thing must always on or can turn
No, it's not always on. So you can actually choose to say, because it's actually inside, we just need to do, like, for example, extract says, or when do you want it? Because it can be a few years lock, for example. It can just say, oh, I just want to extract for the last 12 months. Then we can do it. It's not like it's always monitoring tool. They will consume a lot of resources.
That means you extract from whatever.
Like the activities that you say, yes, correct.
Suppose big mining is it's not like an SIA must have to do this real time.
It can be a node, it can be event table.
Yeah.
All you need is the activity, who did it, like start time, and end time, and then you can come up with some of it.
Because customer will question, you will impact my
Exactly.
performance in day. Like,
I did hear of some other products that they install some agents in real time to monitor the process and come up with this. So that one would impact the
so
production.
if it's different component, they tell me that security kind of thing, then it makes sense to have the agent. That's how they position. If you just turn on for just monitoring the process.
This is the functional business layer analysis, right? It's
Because
not the
It's
technical.
historical. It's not real time.
Because when you use Appian, you actually have the capabilities to create logs for every activities. So all these logs actually written to a database, for example. We will use this database to do all this analysis, all this process mining capabilities or something. So there won't be any impact on the user side. Even, for example, user have the right to choose to say, I only want to analyze certain fields or attributes. Then we will just pick those information that they want to analyze and do the process mining accordingly.
Because it seems like there's a lot of, in order to do this process, for streamlining, analyzing, you need logs. So writing to database are very slow down compared to.
I will say that with Appian, you actually create process that is segregated from your business. So when your business data, for example, this I mentioned, you write into your business data log. At the same time, you can actually branch out another different activities to do the logging. So there won't be a conflict or there won't be a delay.
So even the writing of the log will also sometimes incur some overhead. So that's my question. Is it really you cannot turn off? You just need always write in business. Then later on you want to analyze, you just export out.
Yeah, so it is also possible to say that if you write it into a business data, take for example, you write into your purchase order tables. Okay, then we can actually just say if the purchase order table is in such a way that every steps of the purchase process is captured inside the process table, then we can just use this one. There's no log requirement really. We just use that particular business data to do analysis for it. Yeah, that is also possible.
I'll come back to this particular stream. So as Winston has said, if you automate the process using our model, at every step, we do capture certain information, how long it takes to work on such step. So all these events and the duration are already stored within the system.
That's still okay.
We will not say you can turn it off, because these metrics are useful for people to see how many work cases, how many the average number of days that you do certain steps, so on and so forth.
So from a case management or process management perspective, that such information is already baked into the way you design the automation. So you're just using that, you're not writing anything extra, or doing anything extra for process management. That's, I think, the best,
Yes.
so that you don't have that overhead.
Yeah.
You do not need to specially write to some tables just to capture events or the event capturing so on. This is just a
sorry,
view of the module, where
Hi.
all these different
Hello, can you hear me?
capabilities and components fall within this server.
Sorry, anybody can you hear me? Hello.
Artificial intelligence.
People tell me that are more interested in how it can scale the entire, which if a lot of users coming in, the scalability wise, how it can address.
I'll cover that when we come to the.
Haven't yet. I thought you help me. Okay.
So let's go a bit further in the faster in the interest of time. So we do have a few kinds of AI. We have what we call AI skills with Gen AI for users, Gen AI for developers. So the first one is AI that is built into our platform. Meaning we use AWS and we are capable of doing things like email classification, document classification, document extraction, and also what we call prompt reader. To help you build the prompt so that you can ask something like ChatGPT and give you an instruction and then compare the result.
Okay. So question, this AI is hosted at on-prem or is AWS services your SSS?
It's in AWS.
We use AWS if it's sensitive environment. We are not allowed to use this AI because we have a correct.
So
Understanding in case customer asks.
yeah, so our AI actually we are using Bedrock, Extract, Comprehend, for example. These are the two that we use. It might be more, depends on the thing. So at the moment, for Singapore customers who choose AI, those services are available from AWS, no problem. We actually have a documentation or we have a website to tell customers if you want to use this AI, is it available in Singapore, Japan, Indonesia, or whatever? If you don't have, then they will say, do you want to opt in for cross-region? So Singapore customers say, this one don't have. So support will say, do you allow cross-region? No, then probably this one is disabled already. Okay. The other option, we use API integration. So way before Appian to have this AI out of the box, I have to manually create API calls to extract from behind. So that's why I did, for example, we will say an PDF document, I pass to extract to do the extraction, then pass to comprehend to do the analysis of the text, leaving the deep stuff. Okay, you can do that also. You want to. Not only AWS, but Azure or Google, or even those that are on-prem, because usually what they know the customers who only allow on-prem. So they have their own for instance, or other AI solution like Appian or Rosette, which is open solutions. So we integrate with our on-prem Rosette, pass the information, and the on-prem Rosette pass the process. Of course, Rosette, you need to train them to understand this particular paragraph of text, what is NRIC, what is name, what is address, etc. So it is very different from the current LLM model. Those models, the old model where the traditional training AI model comes in. But now everyone is using LLM really. So you have the flexibility to say that, okay, you use Appian, or you say that you have your own, then you can use your own, you can do API call.
For those cases where the data cannot go in the cloud, you will have to make use of some third party or your own in-house AI. So the difference between the three is that the first one help the process to be more efficient, like document extraction, classification. The second one is help the user become more productive. And the third one is help the developers become more productive. These are just some example of how people try to use AI within our platform. A chat-based AI where you talk to the system, you get certain insights back. For example, I may want to let the AI read through all the documents and give me a summary. And there's also task-based AI, which helps to make the whole process flow much faster. These are the 4 AI skills: document classification, email classification, document extraction, and prompt reading. We are also capable of, remember we have the data fabric. You can even use our built-in AI to talk to the data fabric to get insights. For example, I may have an order to cash process. I can ask questions about all the data that is within the data fabric, and AI will come back to us. self-service analytics, and also knowledge assistant builder, which is to help you to talk through documentation and you have knowledge base within this. We have quite a lot to go through. I'm going too fast. But if there's any topic you want to know in detail, we'll be happy to have another session, one-on-one, just to. So for the platform architecture, I'll just go through what we will call an Appian application first. It allows you to build applications to be used on different web browsers, different platforms, iOS, Android. And an Appian application is what I would call a collection of all these different objects. And the process model, data type, record type, so on and so forth. So when you combine all this together, it becomes an Appian. And we have the concept of reusability. So any of these things that you build, you should be able to share across different applications. So just to show you the design. When you log into the designer, this is what you would see for a particular application. And this is a different view to show all the different objects within a particular application. You can click on the left.
Question. Yes. So Appian, after all, it's something like low code kind of thing. We configure, then we create a process. Underlying, we will generate something. The code base, is it .NET or Java or is other type of language or binary?
I'm glad you asked this question. So it's based on something called Sail, which is our own proprietary definition. So we do not generate .NET codes or Java codes. And in some instances, it is better because we have less incompatibility. When you do upgrades, you wouldn't have a problem of something breaking. Because both the runtime and the design time are all from us.
Okay. Then your front end, the UI, is it a JavaScript kind of thingy or is a server-side generated HTML?
Behind the scenes or processing. So you do not need to write JavaScript.
Yeah, I mean, you all generate, it will become a JavaScript or front end. Yeah.
We use something similar to React. No? So if you decided to create your own web component, custom web component in Appian, then you can actually use React as one of your guidelines. So you use React libraries, then you actually create Appian component using that React library also.
This is the record type. The record type can also pull in data from different systems. And the script that you see like this, certain parts of it come from Salesforce, certain parts of it can come from ERP. And this is how we help users to make more efficient decisions. Instead of logging into Salesforce, ERP, get the information and present them all in one single. And it makes it a lot easier to create as well. And this is the portion that we talk about using the designer to create UI. So you saw the earlier one, which was to automate, create the process. This is to create all the web forms that everything is just drag and drop and configured through this component configuration. And if you want to see what is the so-called code behind it, the cell that is generated at the top left is an expression. If you click on it, you can see what is the expression. This is a mobile view. And for every form that you create, we also monitor the performance. So if you receive complaints about the form is very slow, this will help you to determine which part is slowing down or not. you are able to do what more unit testing with the database as well. AI Copilot is useful for cases where my end user has a lot of PDF forms, it's still very manual processes. I want to convert this into a web form. So using AI Copilot, it will convert this particular form into a web form.
So for example, if I'm not able to connect to set my data using the AI service, I cannot use that feature. The AI Copilot. Need to turn out this.
Yes, this one makes use of Azure. This is a view of an RPA, how you can make use of a designer to orchestrate an RPA task. Typically, people use this to open up an Excel sheet, copy data across different Excel sheets. And this is a view of how you configure our AI skills. So as you configure, it will show you what is this you upload some sample documents for it to train. And it will show you the metrics of how accurate the prediction is. If you need further training, you just upload more. This is a view of building an application dashboard that has business important data as well as see all the different line charts and all the KPIs they sync up. And all this information really can come from different systems. We also have, this is more for operations point of view. So if you are in ops, you want to see how all the different processes are performing, how many build processes, process dashboard should have.
More for the administrator.
Yeah, for ops people to, if let's say the process doesn't run, they need to analyze what's going on. There's an in console where you can change the branding, for example, the logo, the colors, or condition of it. Usually this is important if you're doing on-premise kind of installation, and we need to explain what we're installing is an Appian. So these are all the different components. I will go through them from a customer point of view. So remember I said behind is what the Appian said, which is what is generated when you go on the drag and drop processes and the UI. And this is what the end users will deal with. So the end users will deal with the interfaces, the embedded interfaces, and will be through the so-called serial codes that are generated. People who are designers will be working with things like web services, web APIs, RPA, and with all these different systems through integration. And the developer will also work with embedded, allow us to embed part of an embedded application in another technology. So maybe you already have a front-end application, you want to embed part of that in the site as possible. You can create custom plugins, functions, using Java and JavaScript. So for front-end plugins that you create, you use JavaScript. And for those back-end ones, for example, connecting to certain systems that there's no connector, use Java. So for administrators, of course, you'll be more interested in deployment. So we can be deployed on, if you're doing what we call self-managed, we can be deployed on AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, or Script. We also have a fully managed cloud service called Appian Cloud, which is managed by About development of actually, but these are the different components within the platform. So that you can see and if you have any questions. So over here you can see all the different major databases that we work with.
On-prem and cloud.
Yes. If you're using Appian Cloud, we do provide the cloud database which is already. And the rest of these are all like internal components of the platform, and the search server, data server, to help to run all the processes. Integration, I guess everyone is familiar with this. We can do inbound integration through email, REST services. So even RPA can trigger us, or we can do outbound, we can trigger RPA, right straight to the database, we can construct emails and send it out. We can trigger web services as well. We can also expose certain elements within the platform's APIs to be triggered by people accessing the system. So the whole process can be converted into API. Or even right click to a database, that action can be converted into API.
So if customer will ask you, oh, can you do microservices? To a certain extent, it is possible because, for example, the Appian processes that you have created, you can actually expose it as a web API that people can call. So for example, there are cases where customer says, oh, they create their own proprietary external facing portal. Then this portal, users just click, it's basically the clicking of a button can trigger a process in Appian itself. So it's actually possible as well.
The deployment. So in the most simple deployment, this is what you will have. Web server, app server, search server. Typically, if you install it with a single VM, everything goes in one single VM. Default installation. We support the major browsers and support mobile platforms. For web server, you can use either Apache, Microsoft. The application server that we use is on-prem.
On-prem.
Yes. Because if you are deploying on-prem, sometimes the customers architect one server that has been sold out of the components. This is for the data sources. We work with all these major databases. Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres. Within the system, there is a search server, which is based on Elasticsearch. But it's more based on how you can search across the record types. So it's not meant for sort of search cases across files and so on. That's the data server as well. And the Appian engine helps to run all the different processes. So knowing all these separate components, what is the purpose of it? Because you brought up a very good point about scaling. So in the default installation, everything is installed for you on a single VM. But there are cases where I only want to scale the Appian engine. So I might separate the Appian engine into different VM, and I can scale it. We also require the use of SAN or binding box. So we do have this Appian Cloud, which is a fully managed cloud service.
So before you go to this on previous slide, assuming that the client wants something that they don't want to use your Appian Cloud as because they have lesser control over their managed service. If they wanted to use this deployment model on a cloud, Does it allow for containerization? Can you install your API platform in the AWS VPC that the client has instead of using your flash? Possible?
Yes, also.
That will be self-managed, no?
That's
That will be
what
what we call self-managed.
But then the deployment topology will be similar to this. That means you still have to use only this kind of service, or do we have? Can you install it on ECS, EKS, or as container? Or
Yes, we support, I think EKS, containerization, we support EKS. Not Fargate yet.
Okay.
Not Fargate yet. Yeah, I know you're coming to Fargate.
because self-managed customer wants to have lesser self-managed, but not fully managed by your Appian cloud. So that means they want more PaaS-like services using AI cloud CSP rather than using traditional VM-based model. Now everybody's moving away from VM-based. A few people want to have traditional VM-based for security or some customer data.
Yes, but the challenge now is still, yes, we support K8, but for some customers, our challenge is still that skill set of K8 is still limited. So we do have, like, for example, government that uses us, but they are still on EC2. They have not moved to K8 because of the skill set and the uncertainty that they may have.
So if you are installing on-premises, this could be what you want to do in a standard or clustered environment. You install your own app servers and applications. And since this is for high availability, if you want to split it out all into different VMs. So in terms of scalability, we can have up to 32 support the process execution engines, up to 32 process analytics engine, up to 32 GB per engine. So you can really scale to many users.
All these are for the on-prem deployment. This don't apply to your, these limits don't apply to your managed cloud service.
It's actually our managed cloud services capabilities as well. So it's, for example, like by default, our engine can support up to, per engine, it can support up to 32 processes, for example.
Even on the managed as model.
Correct. It's the same concept.
It's the same concept except for the managed cloud we are managing.
Yeah.
And because sometimes the customer's mindset for a managed cloud service will be, oh, it's like a consumption-based model, it's use as you pay, it's extensible indefinitely like a CSP. They may have that mental model. That's why I asked whether the constraint like 32 process exec, is that applicable to your PaaS also? You said it is, right?
Yes.
So on Appian Cloud, this is the cloud. It is similar to what you have on prem, except for managing. So we have two kinds where you have a standard or mass, where you have multiple customer instances within one VPC. And for customers who want to have their own APC, as possible as well. And within the second instance will be dedicated APC. So there are two options depending on which the customer chooses. So we also support what we call hybrid. So if part of it wants to be on-prem, part of it wants to be an Appian cloud. So in terms of what kind of training you can get as interested. So we do have two different kinds of training. One is called community training, which for any prospects that you might have, you can go to community.appian.com. And once they go there, they can click on get started and start learning.
What you see over here might be a bit different if you are using your partner login credentials. So you, as a partner, you will see more options. Like there might be another tab called partners that you can actually log in to look at use cases, case studies, sales materials, logging in of opportunities. Those are the things that as partners you'll have more privilege.
I'm showing this, for example, you're talking about customer, they want to know also usually they're not partners, so they will pay the sales. So there will be online tutorials, online training is free. And it will spin up instance for you to do your own so-called training as part of the online training. And this is another screen of it. So there's also certification that you can go through as part of the online training. And as a partner, the training that you get is still community.appian.com, but it's with a slash part. And you will have an additional part at the top right called partners. And you're able to get not just the normal training copies platform. You are able to get sales accreditation, pre-sales accreditation. Over here. So you have all these additional kind of I left out the rest because there are more land processes. So these are the things that you will get, like access to a cloud site. I can spin up a cloud site where you can build your own prototypes. You can get things, even discounts on the certification. So you will have access to what we call partner sales academy. So this is what we call this sales training that you have. In terms of certification, we do have a few of them, associate, senior, lead, analyst. And you can get a certification vouchers. And you can be specialized in all these different things as well. And this is how you go about getting certified. So to be project ready, will take 2 to 3 weeks to get certified. And you can move on to what we call project independent, where you can really develop on your own without experience. And you can take another 2 to 3 years to reach the peak. So, any questions about what I presented before I hand it over to? Thanks, Rachel. Let me share my screen.
You already have any Appian projects with any stage? Okay.
Okay, I'll cover a demo of case study. But before that, I'll just show you all. So we actually have a AP around the world event in August, 1st August. It's actually an afternoon event where we actually have invited the customers as well as one of our co-workers. Actually, all companies
all of them, we have no person is essentially police our ambassador. So they will in town, Singapore, host the back, as well as in South. We also have even our product management DP or in town to our just coming soon for the.
So if you are interested, you can just scan the QR code, register yourself.
Or if you have customers or prospects who are looking for local platform and media solutions, then you can let users know the island or yeah, to get a link to help with the administration. Okay, so let's start with our. Okay, the next one is just tells you the agenda for the next about an hour and a half.
Okay, I'll start off with the case management demo.
Case management is actually solutions that customers can use directly out of the box to manage their case. Okay, what's Appian we have been in the market for so many years, where we see that the customers are kind of saying, why are they having Appian? They are spending a lot of time for searching for them. And that's why we want to give them an analytics platform. We have these solutions, so the customer says, why they actually subscribe to Appian, immediately imagine choose to have these solutions out of the box. Okay. The thing about this actually is configurable as well as customizable. Configurable means that there are things that users they themselves can change or manage the solution itself, but they are also complex requirements. For example, they want to do custom API calls, integrations, as well to others. For example, in the case management, likely you will be customer information. Do you store this information system directly or you integrate with your CRM solutions? That is where the customizing comes in to configure and integration to your CRM solution, as well as customer information into our case. Okay. So this will be one.
So in our case management, what means that
We offer customers, okay, these are for Appian cloud customers, customers which is not the cloud solutions. Out of the box, they are provisioned with what we call an Appian portal. Appian portal is our solution that allow customers, for example, I need to create an external, what we call unauthenticated user portals, meaning that I want to create a portal for anyone to log cases or to raise and concern, alarm, etc. There is an NEA has this portal for you to report about rubbish, bird feeding, whatever bird feeding is in Singapore, right? So it's a portal that no one sign on. This is all about. And so actually it's very highly scalable as well. So I mean that I can say now, for example, I can let me just make the screen a bit bigger. Okay. I can come in here, I can just say, I want to raise a case, I want to do a summary of a case. For example, I click on this, you will probably, it will show you a list of cases, case type, for example, or case category. You can create one, if you call this different case category, and within the case category are all the different case types that you can do. Okay. Out of the box, you create a few sample templates. Okay. Or if customer says, no, I don't want to create my own, it's also possible. So I can say, for example, I want to report a concern over here, like incident matters. I can look at what incident I report. Now, this view all over here.
So these templates are available to all customers of Appian.
Yes. So, but you can customize all these case category or case type as well. You can create a new one. It's also possible. I can say, for example, I saw a workplace safety concern I have over here. So I can submit a case over here. So take for example, I can just say I want to raise a case who says I saw an incident where people are working heavy lifting without machine, meaning that this person is using bare hand or whatever to do heavy lifting of things, which is actually hazardous at workplace. Okay, so I can just, for example, I'm too lazy to type, I just Control C, Control V. So this interface is actually using Appian to do that. This is actually Appian interface. For users, they can still customize it. Okay, why we do this as a very plain and simple? Because
We want to show customer that this is plain, you can just customize or configure to your requirement over here. Then I can say, for example, I can put in a name. So I'm the one who reported the case. Okay. Then I can even do a document upload over here. You know, if I need to submit evidence, but if you're actually using your handphone, you can actually take photo. Appian, when you actually saw this button upload, if it's on your mobile device, you can actually activate your camera. Of course, you have to give access right to the camera itself. Then we will be able to take photo, let you use camera and take photo and upload into it.
This one is your native mobile app on the mobile phone, or it is the one that the vendor has built as a mobile app using Appian Class?
Okay, we actually have mobile apps that you can download from App Store straight away and then use it. Of course, there are customers saying, oh, I want to customize it. Yes, it is also possible to change the label branding of that mobile app, or even to the extent that you create your own, what I call that, credential in App Store, then you publish it as your own APK inside the App Store.
So you can use what we call a mobile web browser Safari.
But can you also build native mobile apps using Appian platforms?
You can download our so-called Appian native mobile app, and you will key in the URL of the application, and it becomes a container for the website. And if you need certain branding, you can also submit to us and sort of have your own, let's say, NDA application.
So what I can do is I can just click next over here, and I can do a submission. Okay. This one is a blank because later we'll show you there's actually a page or record that you can actually record. Sorry, a customization that you can create your own page over here to do a submission of the case. Okay. So what happens is that now I'm finished as a person who logged the case. I can become what we call our case worker in this system, or internal staff. For example, I mentioned that NEA people someone who reported a case in NEA. So I'm playing the role of the internal officer who look at cases. So once I log in, this can be a dashboard for me where I can say I can take action. I can even create my own case submission over here, because sometimes people might have called the call center and want to log a case. So you do a case logging over here as well. Okay. But at the same time, there are things like, for example, what are the activities that is happening within the system? These are all triggered by the system, or some of them might be created by the users. Okay. Then you can look at the case that you have created, as well as a calendar view of what are the outstanding tasks or due tasks that you need to complete. So in Appian, we define cases. Then inside case, you have different steps. For those steps, we actually call it tasks. Okay. So I can say, for example, today is 27, right? 28. Today 28, I look at 28. I'll see the different tasks that is due today. So I can click on one of these tasks, then it will drill in to let me take action. But I can actually look at the cases over here to see, okay, for example, before I came in this morning, I actually created a case over here called damage properties, for example, damage projector. Okay. I can click on this to say, for example, what time was the case being created, who created, or a track over there. Okay. This morning when I create, I say I recorded a case of damage project. So who reported a case? This is the next step. So you can actually click on this particular task over here to see the details of all the different tasks that we should be following. So these are all the different tasks. But because the first step of task review has not been completed, and that's why the rest of the task is not being shown in the summary. So this is like a view of the whole process flow of the case. But at the moment, because I'm actually only at stage 1 to take review, Okay. I can actually pick this task and say, oh, I want to take action on it. I want to complete the task, I want to update person, set a due date, etc. I can just say, I want to update the assignee. You can assign to either a group or a person. Okay. I can actually click on the task. And click on this task itself, intake review. Okay. Look at the detail, I can complete the task. Okay. I can complete the task. Then I have feedback. Okay. More than one reported case already. Next step. Sorry, this is proceed to test. Proceed to investigate. Okay, so I can even tag someone to take action and upload document as well again. So I just complete over here. Once you click complete, okay, then you see that the next task has been triggered. So I can just click this, go back here. Then now it's a different task. And if I go to this task, you see that this one has turned green, meaning to say that it's completed. So it's the next task. If you want to look at the different tasks and you click on any one of them, then it will show you what steps are these and the details. So that's why I click. Or if I can click on any one of them, I click on this one, you point to me, it will redirect me where is the task. So these are like, for example, these are like tasks that is associated to the case. Okay, but a lot of times customers say, hey, so does it mean that if I have a new activities or new tasks within this case, do I call IT to make this for me? Okay. In this case, the case management actually cater for that scenario where if I'm a user, I need to do a notification task or notification task or whatever. I ask IT to change? No. I can actually come to here, I can say that I want to create a new task, or I create a task based on the template that is within the system. So I can say that I want to create a new task from the template. I want to say someone have to give me a confirmation of evidence. Okay, because this one doesn't have screenshot of the image for image projector. So I can click on this one, then you put your description. What is the SLA over here? This task must be finished within 3 days, for example. And I say that it has to be done within 3 days, which maybe I put the number, so it's not offline. Then I can either assign a group or a certain person. If I say a group, I can say, I give you a name, case worker, for example, and what kind of task is actually should be a document upload task. Milestone says investigation or action. Okay, and this task start really up to like confirmation of incident or intake review, and you will go into which are okay, maybe you things are going to. Because if I don't do anything, it's not essentially jumping from here all the way to there. If I change this to say severity, then it's very easy. And the good thing about it is that this change is only applies to this particular case that has been locked. You have the right also to say that if this is effective, you have to apply on the overall this particular case onwards is also possible. So what happens is that we have this solution or we have this capability called Appian Studio that I'll cover later. That says on in nutshell how the configuration things actually work. Okay. We also have another scenario, a different case over here, where customers will say, oh, I want to be able to have capabilities to do identification of related cases. So think about one, this is actually another case that we have that a lot of times customers say, if people just lock the same case, or people lock the same case. They want the ability to be able to track duplications or related cases. Okay, of course, in regular common systems like can try to say that this person logged on the case, that is a single one. But maybe 10 people log something similar, the wording different, but the content is the same.
So if machine learning or AI over here, it says how to look at the related cases information. So it tells you here there's actually 4 related cases. You can actually click on this update. So update related cases over here. It showcases to you saying, oh, we found these 4 cases that is quite similar. Okay, what you can do is, these are all the cases that has been identified already previously. So what you can do is actually you can say, oh, I'm going to take this particular case that is open. You can define the relationship. Okay. Or you can say that these are AI generated, but if you want to do a manual investigation, also it's possible to say these are the relevant case and research. I can say maybe because it's the solar methods, I can just type solar and go to search. Then it tells you all these are some cases, and it says if I actually help you to take 1, 2, 3, 4 already, that has been identified straight over. Most of the brands probably these are the other cases that was not tagged. You can capture them, put it over here, post it here. This is actually a very common request by a lot of government agencies. I am looking government agencies. Most of them want to have this because they want to waste different people's resources in investigating a single case as well as meters. So this one, there is another key over here where a lot of times, for example, this particular case, people submit documents to summarize the case as well as for document. Okay. The AI agent is able to say that we pull out this particular document, we summarize the document. Individual document can be summarized uniquely by itself. Or I can click on this particular listing here. Okay. It will open up AI document assistance. What this AI assistant document assistant does is based on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents, it analyzes the content and give you the result that you want. So take for example, I can type in over here. Okay. I say what is the environment impact found? Okay. So AI will take my questions, go to this file document and analyze. Okay. Search or find whatever, goes into AI. Okay.
They send their documents outside.
Yeah, it goes to the extract, the bedrock solution that we create.
Or the
Just now we can share the
the open AI.
No, this is our bedrock. If you say that you have your own open AI, we can integrate as well. So not just summarize it, but you also give capabilities. For example, the summarization comes from where? We derive all these finding number 1, for example. Where is it from? Finding number 1 actually comes from this one. Which page? Similarities. The score, a lot of people say our name scores. Yeah, so it is how the AI actually can be leveraged to create outcomes. The next one I show is actually the studio. Okay, so studio will be the one that, for example, administrators will come in here to create case type or cases over here. Like for example, just now I created a case for what we call this one, workplace safety, right? So what is that? This workplace safety is the one that where you can say, oh, you have additional columns of data that you want to report. For example, incident reporting, I can't just say heavy lifting, but sometimes people need proof so that they can actually create things like, for example, gain of incidents, hospitalization. So you can create custom fields within the case management to fit the different use cases that are okay. Not only just normal views, but you can create forms over here. So in this one, I see a blank form here. I can actually click on this update, for example. Then I can create my forms. I can update the page number, for example, I change it to details. for example. Okay. Then I can change instead of this normal date access incident date, for example. That's the 6 So this one will be the updated form. So whenever users log case, these are additional features. And it can be done in such a way that different case type can have different forms. But for this one, and probably any others like for example scholarship can be customized. For example, scholarship you need cost detail, your results, A level, etc. You can configure. Then back to the task. Again, this is where you find, for example, the different unique tasks in Appian. You can define tasks independently, then put this task into the base type. So, for example, I created all these different tasks right individually. So it becomes unrelated to the case at the moment. I create a new task over here, then only I go into the case type. Okay. I say, for example, data breach over here. Then in data breach workflow, you also shape the task inside. Okay. You never say, oh, you decided to say, oh, you have to create a new task inside here. It's also possible. You add a task, then you can create a new task. It's either you create a task, then you come here to add it in, or you say, oh, I'm going to create a still come in and create a task for the users. Okay. Any questions on the case management? So this is a very, very, very quick introduction of case management. We do have something like, for example, like we mentioned now, the training actually is more of a technical concept. So case management is geared towards what we call configuration, where some of these things we call it done by seasoned developers. Whereas the more detailed training that we mentioned is for the developers, people who are well into the more complex design aspect of the game.
The differentiation between what I showed earlier is more for analysts and developers. What I showed in the process. This is what I will call more for end user configuration of workflows. So depending on the requirement, if you see in the standard specs, they say end user must be able to configure their own workflow. Then this is more relevant.
Because I'm not quite sure how can this workflow join the user role type of hierarchy? Because in government agency there hierarchy falls what, and some of the officer may not be then covering officer able to access. That's very complicated. So is it customized or how easy or out of box
there's this thing called assignment rules. So in Appian, you can configure different assignment rules based on, like, for example, workload, based on, like, for example, if this is out of which one. These are what we call assignment rules. Take for example, if you find XLA to say that this task has been completed in 3 days, if not, escalate to someone. So you can use these assignment rules to define all these escalations and point of contact for the next activities or next action.
So is there a sort of user hierarchy configuration or IP that it can keep track of?
Yes. So you can define user, then you define the user group as well. So you group them together. For example, is we actually have something like assign to person. So you can create user into a people, or you can assign this user to a group. Okay. You may even say that this particular task is assigned to a person itself. But of course, there is bad thing because it's not assigned person is not then that's it. So usually the branch was assigned to a group of people. So you can find all these different. Okay. For example, if just have the case like itself, I think I mentioned in detail, but what is that? In the case, in class, you can assign groups or users. Say, for example, I can just say this one on this operation. SRA or assign group. You define the group user. Then in this assignment group itself, is the one that says, for example, this assignment group, you define some of the criteria. Okay, what are the case, for example, if it is certain case type, certain state, certain city, or whatever, you add your condition. Okay, and this condition can be some of these fields that is available in the system.
You can still map all the AD groups and users over.
Yeah, we still allow you to, for example, we can integrate with customers AD, SAML, OIDC, PID as well. These are the few authentication providers that we can connect. Even if you say excludes the users from this particular activity. Or round robin, okay, so yeah, there's an option to do round robin or shared queue. But these are all out of the box. There is a possibility of customizing it. Because remember, Appian is a local platform. When you deploy a solution like that, the source code comes together with it. Any other assets?
The case management is built on top of our platform. And we choose to show it to you just to show how polished it can be as a finished product with your delivering any sort of project.
So in Appian, we actually has been deployed in a lot of government agencies. Okay, Singapore, we are very happy. In fact, we actually started our research in the US 45 years ago, where government was one of the main targeted accounts. We also have, for example, besides Singapore, we also are very aggressive or active in Australia, which are really good. So these are all the applications that was built using Appian. In fact, we actually, like for example, this government's there's a procurement acquisition modernization. We actually created a suite of solutions for this called government acquisition management solution. Meaning that customers say government says they're interested in the product. Out of the box, this government acquisition management solution includes procurement process, includes acquisition, etc. All the different complex contracting processes. All inside there. So for government, public sectors, these are some of the customers that we have in. This is specifically for Australia and Singapore. Okay, you can notice these are some customers that we have. Okay. GovTech. Most of you might have well our Extra. There's a few more others that users ask as well. Okay. In fact, if you go to GovTech YouTube, you search for our Extra, there's 2-minute video. Okay, they talk about the Singapore Extra. And the 1 minute 30-second mark, they show the back end shape. So they show the front end, how user create the brand applications. Then at the 1:30 mark, how the reviewer processor use Appian to do all the approval process. Okay, this one is actually a very unique case where there was one day, okay, this one wasn't announced as a public story because it's not supposed to. Okay, we only talk about, we cannot share or whatever. It's where COVID 2021 Delta variant, I think you already know that there was a lot of drop rate, call drop rate. Means that the times government actually opened up call center managed by NSPs. But they do not have a proper system to log the cases or call that they receive. So I mean that government call us and say, hey, we need a system. We have a telephone already, but we don't have a system to log the cases. What causes the problem? What was the problem? From that is NSN write a paper and paper loss. That's why at the time you might have heard people who got COVID, they say they wait for 2 days, 3 days, no ambulance coming back. So they came back and said, yes, they don't, because they are working them, they don't be. So we get our CS people to identify a solution that is really, we show this to them, they say, yes, it's all one, 30%, is it customer things off. The customer 30% is basically just to integrate things like single SMS, so that they can send SMS to those that when the ambulance goes, how SMS goes.
and some other things like creating Excel file for MOH to have the list of contact or whatever. So from the day they start to us until the day we deliver 6 days. If we work from the weekend to deliver, to set up the environment, set up instance. The setup instance is quite fast, 3 hours, but then actually we pump the application in it, then we prepare the notification and run this with the so everything is
We also have a very active customer
in Australia. Okay, our office of was solution office. Okay, they use us for their Kubernetes management.
not into the details, but if you like,
We actually have Australia's public sector's BP in house and support us. The next thing we actually will cover is actually the opportunity. Due to NDA, this one my legal says it's not about the recording, so we actually do zero recording. Okay, so we can start over.